All right, chat. While I eat, we're gonna watch some the worst punishments still used today. We're watching it with Tom. Let's lock in.
Let's start with the bad and slowly work our way towards the stuff of nightmares. Number 8, the wooden cane. Many countries today still punish criminals by tying them up and whipping them. But just to make matters worse, it's often done in front of their peers and loved ones. In countries like Singapore, criminals convicted of violent crimes or vandalism can still be sentenced to judicial caning. Here, the criminal's bent over and has
Bro,
their
I'm eating like a
ankles and
fucking
wrists tightly
goblin right
strapped
now.
to a large wooden trestle. Before the criminal becomes a piñata, the cane is first soaked in water for a few hours, making it a lot more flexible and primed for whipping. The man who carries out the punishment is a highly trained officer, trained to deliver each strike with
Oh,
maximum force and precision. After each strike, there's a long pause, just to make sure the
pause.
criminal feels every bit of pain that is humanly possible before the next powerful strike is delivered. The severity of the crime dictates how many strikes the criminal receives, but it can be as many as 24. Criminals are typically left bleeding with deep wounds and permanent scarring, leaving them with a lifelong reminder of the hellish punishment they once.
So like without the long pause, are they then like getting used to the pain? Like is that what the long pause is for? Because that's wild.
Received. Number 7, the White Room. There's a room so terrifying that it strikes fear into even the most hardened criminals. It's simply known as the White Room. Inside Evin prison in Iran, there's a small, all-white
Mm-mm.
isolation cell where the bright overhead lights never turn off, and all outside noise and human contact cease to exist. This punishment begins with the criminal being dressed in all white before being thrown into a completely soundproof, all white cell. The bed, walls, floors, and even the plate and food they receive are all white. But it gets even
I gotta
worse.
wash my
The
hands.
guards outside the cell wear cushioned shoes to silence their steps, ensuring the prisoner never hears a single sound from the outside world. You see, the color white wasn't chosen at random. White eliminates contrast, depth, and visual reference points. And since the brain doesn't get any stimulation from the outside world, it begins to create its own, tormenting the prisoner by spawning in vivid hallucination and noises that are not really there. And because the lights never turn off, prisoners lose their sense of time, not knowing whether it's been days, weeks, or even months that have gone by. There have been reports of prisoners remaining in this cell for up to 8 months, with some claiming that even after leaving, they have never been the same since. Number 6, amputation. Amputations are still used in countries like Iran, Yemen, Nigeria, and Saudi Arabia, and are typically reserved for thieves. For example, in Saudi Arabia, thieves can still be.
Dude, I obviously didn't like go through white room torture, but I talked about this a little on like a short. I got locked out for like 6, 7 hours. Here, 6, 7. Um, I got locked out for like 6 to 7 hours, and I was like sitting there, and I was trying to like sleep, but like it's outside. There was like just this one light on that was in the hallway. Well, it wasn't like fully outside. It was like in an apartment building. That felt like torture, bro. That was like the most comparable thing I could think of to like white room torture, because I didn't have like any form of entertainment, and literally all there was to do was just like sit there and try to sleep. But it was in a place that was like uncomfortable to the point where like you didn't want to sleep. And like, dude, oh my god, I thought I know for a fact because left. It was like 11 or 12, so it was like 5 or 6 hours, and my roommate got back at 5. I didn't have my phone, didn't have my keys. I was just locked out, dude. That that I honestly thought was like it felt so long, but then at the same time, he came and I was like, that felt like 2 hours. Like I had no track of time whatsoever. That was the most confusing like feeling of time I've ever felt in my life.
Punished by amputation of the hand, while armed robbers receive a little extra, having their hand and the opposite foot amputated. Now, before you get the wrong idea, these countries do sometimes take it easy on criminals and just amputate the fingers instead, which is exactly what is done in Iran. In 2025 alone, at least 3 thieves had the fingers on their right hands amputated. The punishment uses a guillotine style machine, just a lot smaller. Here, prisoners are blindfolded, handcuffed, and restrained. The hand is tied in place with the fingers pointing out. As soon as the sign is given, the lever is released, and the blade slams down on the person's hand, easily removing the criminal's fingers. They are then quickly stitched up if they're lucky, and sent back to their prison cells to walk it off. Number 5.
When I was younger, I swear to God, I got told that like that happened in Texas. Like I was told like it was either in like Texas or like Wyoming or something like that. Like one of my friends was like, "Bro, like if you get caught like stealing or like doing like criminal shit." I was young, I can't remember what like the crime was. But he was like, "If you get caught doing this, they will like put you on public display and like cut off your fingers." And so I was a little scared of that. Like I don't remember wh- I don't feel like it impacted me that much because I was like, well, I'm not gonna be a criminal. I'm not gonna go to like Texas. But that definitely was like, I believed it. Honestly, I
You
don't
were scared because you were stealing shit?
know. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
imagine. I was like 7 when I was told this. But like, I don't know. We were playing with like airsoft guns, and he just like turns and tells me this, and I'm like, bro, what? Like, I believed it though. I think I still believe it. Like, I wouldn't doubt if like Texas does that. But I feel like it would be a lot of like bureaucratic tape you'd have to get around.
Castration. In countries like South Korea, Poland, and Indonesia, anyone who's convicted of being inappropriate with children can be sentenced to chemical castration. This punishment typically begins
Oh, this
after
is
the criminal
nuts.
has
I've
served their
heard of
sentence
this.
and right before they are set to be released from prison, where they will receive the first of many injections to drastically lower their testosterone and libido. The more severe the crime, the longer the castration period. Now,
I
being
wonder if this
injected
actually
so
works.
often does carry some side effects, but realistically, nobody cares. But in countries like the Czech
Fair.
Republic, castration is taken even further. High risk criminals who continue
What
committing
the
heinous
fuck is
crimes
this
can be
image?
permanently castrated. From 2000 to 2016, over 84 surgical castrations were carried out. But in recent
Just cut
years, the
off the
numbers have
dick.
plummeted. After heavy international pressure, the law was changed. Today, they still perform permanent castrations, but are now only given to criminals who volunteer. Number 4. An eye for an eye. In Iran, the victim or their family can request an equivalent punishment for.
Bro, today I was on, I think it was TikTok, and I saw like John Kiriakou. Tom, do you know who John Kiriakou is? He's like the CIA dude.
No, don't. No.
He's like all over my For You page and like YouTube feed. He's like, he's a dude who was like a CIA agent, um, like a spy, and then he was like, he was the whistleblower on like the torture program that started during 9/11. And this dude, like, he was talking because he went to jail because of like whistleblowing, and he was talking about a prison story, and he became like the dude in the prison who like is just kind of like the networker, you know, like not a top dog, but like he knows everybody and everybody kind of holds respect to him. And like he was talking to a guy, and he asked this guy like, what did you like, what were your charges? And this dude said like he got charged with like looking at evidence photos or something like that. He was like, "What? Like that's not really a charge. That's not how it works." So like he figured it was like kitty diddling, and so he asked something about it, and the dude like got excited and like looked at him and was like, "Well, like I was looking at the photos of dead kids from like crime scenes and then like getting off to it." And bro, hearing that first of all just made me like so grossed out, like wanting to vomit. But then other than that, like that's actually insane. Like that is uh, I Like, how do you even get into that? What? I, I don't know, dude.
their
That's
attacker.
wild.
This means they can request a life for a life, an injury for an injury, or in this case, an eye for an eye. The act of blinding someone as a form of punishment has been carried out a few times in recent years, with the most recent 3 cases occurring in 2022.
Are
Surprisingly,
you like
many of the
falling
cases
asleep on
were
the
very
couch?
similar. A person, for one reason or another, decided to throw acid on someone, causing the innocent person to lose their eyesight. The victim or their family can then legally request the same punishment for the attacker. It all begins with the person being restrained and having their eye or eyes held open. Acid is then dropped into the eyes, permanently blinding them. The drops are administered by authorities, but the victim can request to do it themselves. Well, as long as they can still see. The injury is then verified by authorities, and the attacker is sent back to prison to serve the remainder of their sentence. Number 3. Pushed off a cliff. This is one of the most disturbing and strangest punishments in the world. In Iran, criminals can still be sentenced to be thrown from a height. Now, as bad as that sounds, it only gets worse. Here, the criminal is taken to the top of a cliff, then placed inside a sack. The sack is tightly sealed, and both the sack and the criminal are thrown off the cliff. But here's the
Ain't
twist.
no
In the
way.
extremely unlikely event that the man survives the fall, he would then be freed from the sack, only to be hanged instead. A few men in recent years have been sentenced to receive this punishment. One man in 2002 and 2 in 2008. The punishment is incredibly rare and is only given to those who commit truly heinous crimes. Even though these 3 men were sentenced by a judge to be thrown off a cliff, I can't 100% confirm they were actually thrown, since Iran ranks amongst the most heavily censored countries in the world, and this information is not easy to come by. Either way, the punishment is incredibly terrifying and not one you would ever want to receive. Number 2.
Seems hard to
Capital
throw 3
punishment.
people off
Now,
a
I
cliff
could
in
bore
a
you and walk you
bay.
through all the standard capital punishments that are used around the world, like lethal injection, firing squads, the electric chair, and hangings. But instead, I'm
Dude, firing squad has to be like the most crazy fucking capital punishment. Like lethal injection, you're just on a bed, your family watches, which is wild to me. And like, I guess there's other people who can come and watch. That, like, the watching part is insane. Like, I don't know if I'd want to watch a loved one, even if they are like a very bad criminal, get lethally injected. I would assume it's kind of like almost peaceful in a sense. Like, it's just kind of injected. Like, you don't like seize or like freak out. It's just kind of like you get it and die. But like firing squad, bro, nah. Like you're just standing there like with 5 fucking people with ARs pointed at you.
going to
Nah.
cover some of the most strange and terrifying variations of these executions that are still used in parts of the world. In Saudi Arabia, criminals who commit murder or
You know what's fucked up too? Like who has to clean up after a firing squad? I wouldn't want that job. Like fuck that job.
drug-related crimes can still be sentenced to be beheaded with a sword. Here, the criminal is kneeling on the floor with their arms tied behind their back. Their head is then leaned
Drug related
forward as the
crimes?
person trembles and waits for the executioner to strike. As soon as the signal is given, the executioner swings with all their might and hopefully removes the head on the first go. Of course, this is all done in front of a crowd, ensuring they get punished with severe PTSD as well. Then there's China, where execution vans deliver lethal injections directly to a person's front door. On arrival, criminals are apprehended and placed inside the van. They are then quickly strapped down and given a lethal cocktail injection. It's estimated that around 8,000 people have been executed in one of these vans, but the
Throws
real
luck
number
back in.
remains a mystery since the program is covered in secrecy. Then there's hanging execution.
Wait,
Estimated
what?
that around 8 are then quickly strapped down. On arrival, execution van surely removes the head on the first go. Of course, this is all done in front of a crowd, ensuring they get
Well,
punished
duh.
with severe PTSD as well. Then there's China, where execution vans deliver lethal injections directly to a person's front door. On arrival, criminals are apprehended and placed inside the van. They are then quickly strapped down and given a lethal cocktail injection. It's estimated that around 8,000 people have been executed in one of these vans, but the real
How many
number
are like,
remains a mystery since the program is
bro, like you could so easily like get the wrong guy. Like what?
covered in secrecy. Then there's hanging executions.
Probably
Some
got a
countries still
picture
use
of
the more
the
humane method.
criminal.
What was that?
Probably got like a picture of the guy
Well, yeah,
so you don't mess up.
but if you're grabbing somebody at their house, you're probably skipping a trial and all that. So it's like, what if they just didn't do it, and then you find out later? I would feel guilty
the long drop,
if I was
which
the person who
instantly
gave
breaks
the
the neck
injection.
and causes unconsciousness.
Well,
This
yeah.
method obviously requires a math formula to get right. Too short of a fall,
I don't
the
think
neck
they
remains
quite stress
intact,
about it.
and the person
Sorry, what?
I don't think they quite stress about it.
Yeah, fair
hangs
enough.
there and slowly chokes. Too long of a fall,
I
and
mean,
it
this is
becomes a
China.
beheading and a very messy and annoying cleanup. But in countries like Iran, the
Also, I mean, like, to be fair, China is like a fucking what? Don't they have like a bunch of like AI cameras and like all these like face monitoring and surveillance shit? Isn't it like a total surveillance country? Or am I wrong?
math problem is simply
Yeah,
tossed in the trash,
probably.
and instead they
Yeah.
use a method called the short drop, which is a lot more cruel and vicious. But hey, at least no one could ever say they're bad at math. Here, the criminal is rigged to a crane with their arms tied behind their back and is then slowly lifted a few inches off the floor. As the criminal panics and kicks, the
This is so off topic, but like, you ever look at a crane and be like, how the fuck did they make that crane?
Yeah,
Like, I've
it's
looked at a few
crazy.
cranes and been like, that's insane. Apparently, the crane assembles itself, but like, I like to just imagine that they bring another crane and then a crane, like a bigger crane, or that builds a crane and then that crane builds a bigger crane.
rope tightens, and eventually,
I
within
think
minutes, the person passes
the first crane is being built on the ground, like yeah, on like a large airfield. It's being built. Then another crane comes and puts it like upright.
Yeah,
But
that's
where did they get the other crane? That's the question. I bet they use helicopters, bro. 100%.
Do you not know how a crane is actually built?
No.
Like, I'm pretty sure you come with like you pull up with a truck that has like a smaller crane on it, and then like not like an actual big crane, like just like a truck crane, something that you could transport
Yeah.
around. And then like they'll build like the first base of it, and then I think it like kind of slides up the crane. Like the scaffolding will go up. Like the crane literally like builds itself.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense.
How is a crane built? Concrete foundation assembled by mobile crane. Yeah, so it uses a mobile crane and then it like once the base mass is up, the mobile crane hoists the critical top component. Is there like an image of this? Oh, bro, I've seen these cranes before. I didn't realize how tall they were though, now that I think about it. Like those are some big cranes on a fucking truck, bro.
Have you ever wondered how cranes are built on a construction?
See, they like go up
Have you ever
though.
wondered how cranes are built on a construction site? Well, first, a concrete foundation is made so that the crane will be safely anchored to the ground and stable. Next, a mobile crane assembles the first part of the tower crane, lifting different segments of the tower into place until it's at a required height. This also includes the jib, counter jib, and operator's cab. Once all the core components are in
Counter
place, the
jib.
tower crane will then build the rest of its own
See?
structure. It does this by lifting the top segment up with a hydraulic jack and sliding in
Oh,
a new
that's insane.
section, doing this until it reaches the desired final height. And don't forget to drop us a follow.
No, I will forget to drop
That's
you a
crazy.
follow.
out and
Yeah, it
stops
is.
moving. Number 1, stoned to death. Easily the harshest and most cruel
Oh, this is nice. I've seen it.
Getting stoned to death?
Yeah.
Wait, you've
Oh,
seen it getting somebody getting stoned to death?
I've seen the video.
Oh, like a video. Okay. Like that's
Yeah.
one thing, but like doing it in real life would be wild.
punishment in the world
Nah,
You're the
never.
one throwing the stones?
has to be stoning. This punishment
Yeah.
has occurred in Nigeria, Somalia, and Iran in recent years,
It
with
still
Iran being the
happens.
only
Oh
country
yeah,
where
I
stoning still
remember.
exists in law as a punishment for adultery. The most
Yeah,
recent
I
uses
remember
of
hearing
this
that.
punishment actually came from angry mobs in Nigeria in 2020 and 2022, and before that, a militia group in Somalia in 2014 and 2018. I'll quickly cover these before I move on
I
to
feel like I've
Iran.
heard
In
that.
both cases in Somalia, a judge within the area's militia group sentenced the women to be stoned to death for adultery. The women were buried up to their shoulders, with only their heads exposed, and then stoned to death by the militia.
What is adultery? I've like heard it, but I don't know like by definition. Adultery refers to a voluntary sexual act between a married person and someone who is not their spouse. Bro, they're getting stoned to death for an affair? What? Ain't no way. Like, I hate cheaters, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if I hate cheaters that
Group.
much.
All of this was done in front of the townspeople. The Nigeria incidents were very similar to one another as well. In 2020, a man accused of blasphemy was chased and
I
stoned
feel
to
like you could
death
have a
at a fish and
slip up,
vegetable
bro.
market. But wait, it gets even darker. It's reported that even the local children picked up stones and took part in the execution. Then a few years later, in 2022, a woman was attacked by
What?
a mob and stoned to death at a college for the same reason. But let's talk about Iran, since they officially have stoning as a form of punishment.
Bro.
From 1980 to 2009, there were roughly 150 people, mostly women, convicted of adultery who were condemned to stoning, with the latest sentences taking place in 2017.
That's a fucked up thing, like, especially, I would assume it's, like, in Iran, where they said mostly women. Like, I feel like men, if they do adultery, don't fucking care. They don't give a shit. But if a woman does adultery, they're getting stoned to death.
And
Which is like,
2022. The
whatever.
punishment begins with the woman being buried up to her chest, or the waist if it's a man. Officials then gather around the person with stones in
Say,
hand,
man.
and as soon as the signal is given, they begin to throw them. But here's the catch. If the person manages to escape from the hole, and only
I feel like the men who got stoned to death, though, were the people who, like, it was like a high power man had a wife. That wife committed adultery. Those two got stoned. It wasn't like guy and a girl. Guy goes, does this, and then he just gets stoned. Like, I feel like it was like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope it does.
they had confessed to adultery, they could earn their freedom. In the second scenario, if the person manages to escape but were caught committing adultery, they are placed back in the hole for round 2. As someone who's extremely competitive,
Wait, what did it just say?
freedom. In the second scenario, only to throw them. But here's the catch. If the person manages to escape from the hole, and only if they had confessed to adultery, they could earn their freedom. In the second scenario, if the person manages to escape but were caught committing adultery, they are placed back in the hole for round 2. As someone who's extremely competitive, yeah, I'm beginning to think this might be a little unfair for the women.
Fair. W video. Stoning is wild, bro. Why is bro enjoying the whipping at the beginning, bro? That's what I was saying. Hearing that people are advocating for less harsh punishment for pedos? What? An opportunity. Weirdly Iran centered. I only heard one video about Iran, or one part about it being Iran. Maybe I just zoned out. I've been essentially subjected to white room torture inside of a psych room or psych ward. I was there for a week. Start to lose your mind from the boredom. But what really bothered me was the fact that there was no way to tell the time, no windows, no clocks, no contact except from the occasional doctor who checked to make sure I was still alive. Remember the first time I saw the sky again, I cried. It was more beautiful than ever before. Every experience since then has been a blessing. Bro, I'm not saying like I want white room torture and that like it's good to have or anything like that. But like I will say, bro, you probably do count the fuck out of your blessings after that shit happens to you. I was an insane video, bro. The adultery stoning part was wild to me.